Cosmic Mosey here. Ever since I posted my breakdown tutorial of my Milano from Guardians of the Galaxy, I've been getting a lot of requests for a proper bottom-up build tutorial. So, I guess I'm going to attempt one. Now, I must forewarn you that I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how I built this. I basically just made 20 different versions until one stuck. I deleted parts, I deleted ships, I tried things until something clicked. And so I'm going to have to basically do a lot of edits here. I'm going to need breaks to go and cry, maybe have a nap. So please, bear with me and let's dig in. Okay, let's get started with our brand new Milano. Of course, we are going to start with landing gear. This is the easiest one to work with. I know that my Milano doesn't have landing gear. I will show you how to fix that at the end, but for building purposes, we're going to need it. What we want to start with is a Thunderbird class right there. Now, I like to use the Thunderbird class because the interior looks very much so like the interior of the Guardians ships. So we've got 2 stacked and then 3 on the top and the back. In the back here, you are going to go with a Titan class landing bay. Right there. And in the front here, we want to go with the Thunderbird class cockpit. Boom! Look at that. Doesn't it look like a Milano? You're doing so well. Thanks for sticking along. This is the easy part. Enjoy it because it's about to get a lot more hectic. Now, before we go any further, I do want to show you guys a process of maintaining your progress, keeping things saved so that if and when there's a mistake that happens in the process, we don't have to start all over from scratch and lose a bunch of the hard work we've gone into. You probably already know this, but I'm going to show you anyways. Stick around. So let's just say things are going really well. Your build is working, everything is clicking together as it should, and your progress is going smoothly. What you want to do is, of course, save often. Save often because it is going to create a new restore point. Because when you're in the middle of a build, there will come a time where you attempt something new or you accidentally delete something that took a very difficult glitch or a really annoying process to make it work, and there is no go back button and save it. So because we created that new restore point while things were going well, before we attempted something crazy or got too ahead of ourselves, there is a workaround. Maybe there's an easier way to do this, I don't know, but the way that I've been doing it is just close the game and restart it, reopen it, and it'll come to that last restore point. When you load back in, everything is going to be, of course, as it was when you last hit that restore point. Any mistakes will have been forgotten. So, little trick for you. I'm sure you guys had already figured that out, but if you hadn't, this will save you a lot of headaches and heartaches. And we're back. Okay, moving on. Let's grab the Albatross sidepod. And we're just going to mirror it on either side of the fuselage like that. We are going to grab the Argonaut winglet. And we're also going to mirror that on either side of the cockpit. So you should have something looking like that. Okay. Then we're going to grab the Speedbird fairing. It's a funny name. I put it on top there. Now, something to note, you may want to do what I do, which is color some of the pieces as you're going. One, you can kind of see what it's looking like, get a feel for your progress. But 2, some of these pieces end up getting quite buried, and it's a real pain in the neck to try and get back to them later on. So let's go with the classic blue and orange. Now, you might want to stay with gloss finish. I have decided to go with a metallic finish on mine because it's more like the movie ship, which is more of a metallic finish. I just find that the gloss finish on this looks a little too, I don't know, cartoony. So go ahead and color these 4 pieces with that blue and orange metallic finish, okay? Now, we are going to slap on one of these Arcadia stabilizers on either side. So you have something like this. Something to note as well, these pieces here, instead of just leaving them light gray, I like to make them that metallic finish with the light gray and orange. Same with the cockpit, and while we're on it, same with the halves. You don't want some light gray poking through. You want this whole thing looking quite metallic. So I think that's it. We got it all. There we go. Next up, we're going to get into the wings. So in order to do this, we're going to utilize a method that I used extensively on this build. And if you're not familiar with it, you're going to get very familiar with it. We're going to start using the halves as sort of a guideline for attachment points. Wherever pieces don't want to attach to, well, we're going to use halves to help them along. So you're going to see us use this turbine aerofoil as a wing. You place it right there. It normally wouldn't attach to this piece, but it will now because it's got some halves to lay across. Let's color it while we're here, just for fun. We're going to use the same method for the turbine, which is going to sit right here. Let's just get rid of this guy. So we're going to start with the Rockhopper propeller module right there. Okay, you can see I've flashed it on there. You can delete a hab, and we're going to use the Vesper diffuser, which, you know, gotta be honest, I use it quite a bit here. And mirror it, we'll put it right there next to the hab. And before we get ahead of ourselves, I'm just going to go ahead and mirror this this wing start. So let's go over here, give these guys something to latch onto. I'm just going to start right there. And best to just come over here, duplicate the parts because they're already colored. There we go. And grab that piece there. Bobber there, and mirror this guy on the other side. You should have something like this so far. Alright, see, I've already made a mistake. We're just gonna mirror these guys. They're actually supposed to slope outwards. Apologies for that. Carrying on, we're gonna grab the hab and duplicate it underneath the turbine. This is, well, it's not gonna look very tricky, but it was tricky to figure out, especially now, just to replicate it. We're gonna try and cover up that turbine, at least on the top of it, because on the Milano, you don't actually see that piece. So it's going to sit like that. All right. Then we're going to grab the Arcadia blade, and that Arcadia blade is just going to sit on this side. Okay. We might as well, while we're here, make that silver. Then you're going to delete the halves underneath, because otherwise this last piece is not going to stick. We're going to duplicate that Arcadia piece, mirror it, and it'll sit right there in that little pocket. Boom. And as you can see, that turbine is completely covered up. Don't ask me how I figured that out. As I said, I button mashed for about half an hour until it worked. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side. So, duplicate the halves so the bottom is covered. Duplicate this guy, have him sloping on the inside. Might as well go over here and take our Arcadia piece that's already colored properly. Duplicate him. And flip it around. There we go. And duplicate again. Oh, sorry. We're going to delete the bottom halves because it won't work otherwise. It won't connect to it for some reason. We're going to mirror it, spin it, boom. We've covered both turbines. And it looks like a clunky mess, but I assure you, it will look like a ship. Now, we are going to have to save our progress, so if you haven't already, we will have to add a reactor, thrusters, and weapon system. Normally when I'm doing my builds, I just kind of throw them wherever, just keep them out of the way, so that I can save the progress and just place them where I want to at a later time. But for now, why don't we just go ahead and slap the parts on that are going to stay permanently. I apologize in advance for this. This is going to be a little annoying. We have to delete a couple parts. Throw a hab right there. We're going to grab the photon cannon. Slap it right there. Delete that hab. Grab our original piece. Oops. Put them right there. Grab the top piece. And cover up that cannon. Of course, you can do whatever you want with the guns. This is just kind of how I've done it and kept it hidden. And it's worked out for me. So, as I say, we'll put it there. Delete the hab. Duplicate this guy. Oops. Put him right there. Grab this top piece. And voila! Photon cannons are hidden. Now let's go back here. My Milano, I've put 3 thrusters on. The third main one is kind of a pain to do. We're just going to focus on the easy first 2 on the sides. So one there on the left hab, one there on the right. That's our thrusters taken care of for now. And the Medusa class reactor, which is what I use in this build. We're just going to put it right here. We are going to move it in some annoying ways. We'll see if you want to follow my lead on that. If not, you can do it however you want, but we'll just put it there for now so that we can save our progress. So go ahead and save. Why don't we take a nice little break and do some easy parts on the undercarriage. So let's grab the Supercruise aerofoil, and you're gonna slap it right there, and one right there, just like that. Now let's make sure that they're colored right. Yep, light gray and orange, metallic finish. We're going to duplicate, spin it 1,000 times till we get it right. There we go. And one on the back. So there we go. We've got some nice smoothing underbelly fins going to the back. And that's how it should look. Right, now that we had a nice easy break, let's get back to the crazy wing. So, we're going to duplicate a couple habs, stack them like so, and then we're going to grab the Rockhopper wing module. I'm going to sit it so that the back is attached to this back hab and the front is kind of connected to the front corner of the wing, just like that. Now, this turbine is a bit of a placeholder. We're going to delete it momentarily in a second, but we will bring it back. So here we go. One there. It doesn't hurt to stack them. And one there. So you can see this one down here, very important, is right in line with the turbine. In fact, it's kind of eating it a little bit. It's okay, it's just temporary. Now, next piece we're going to grab, the articulating fins, is the Arcadia S-foil. And that is going to sit right here, so that it looks like it's coming off the turbine. And then next, we're going to grab our favorite piece, the Supercruise aerofoil, and place it right there. So you can see it's kind of just coming off of the hab in the back there, the back side of the hab. Duplicate that. We are going to flip it around like so. So you can see that it's basically right attached to the back hab here, and it's kind of connected to that piece. But from afar, it looks like 3 tilted articulating fins, which is what we're looking for. Now, coming back here, we want to go to the Arcadia blade and place it right there along those habs. And we can get rid of that one. We can grab this Argonaut aerofoil, flip it around, and it's just going to sit right there, okay? Then we're going to duplicate the blade, place the blade right there as a continuation of our wing. Now we can get rid of these habs. And duplicate this guy just to kind of smooth it out, and we'll put him there. Make sure that it's metallic still. Yep, that's good. While we're here, we might as well color these parts of the wing. Now remember, I said that a lot of the Milano is not blue and orange. Most of it's just metallic, especially in the back. The fins, however, some of them are blue and orange. So this top wing fin, we're going to do a metallic blue and orange. Same with the front one right there. And just for a little bit of added color, this little guy right there. Boom. Might as well save. Now we can start deleting some of these halves. And start to see a wing take shape. Look at that. Now, let's go do the other one. Whee! I'm going to forget all of it. Now we're just going to do the same thing on this wing and just mirror it. So bear with me, my brain is really struggling with this just because it's flipped around. Isn't that funny? Okay, turbine goes here, as you can see, front corner of the wing lined up. Okay, we're going to do more halves, basically cover this entire area with halves. And don't forget this last one that goes underneath the turbine. Now, next piece we're using, the Arcadia S foil, right there. I'm just going to flip around just so we have something to look at. Just remember that it goes to the front like that. Okay. Now, what do we do next? Our favorite piece, the Supercruise aerofoil. Flipped around, just like that, sitting right up front, sitting pretty on the first hab that's tucked underneath. And then we're going to flip and spin, just like that. Okay. And then we're going to come back here. Oh, this is going to be tricky. My brain's not happy about this part. Okay, we're going to do the Arcadia blade. Flip it around like this. Boom. Okay. Delete. Delete. The Argonaut, whatever it's called. Okay. And this guy goes right there. Delete some halves because it won't connect for some reason. This guy, flip it around. We want to sit right there. Now, if you recall, we're just going to color a couple of these. This guy right here, blue and orange metallic. Blue and orange metallic. Now, I saved in between these edits, so we're going to have to change these guys back to metallic. All these new pieces, I accidentally made it so it wasn't. Make them all metallic. Make them all metallic. And metallic, metallic, metallic blue, if you recall. Boom. There we go. And we got a wing. Let's get rid of these, let's get rid of the hab. We can. Don't delete the turbine. There we go. That we got wings. We got wings taking shape. It's beautiful. It's awesome. It's a Milano-ish. All right, back to the underside. Nice easy part here. Gonna go to the Supercruise aerofoil again. And we're gonna put it right on back here. Boom. And grab the Argonaut winglet. Flip it upside down. It is going to sit just like that in front of the turbine, just to smooth out the underside of the wing so it's not so jarring and flat. So you can see under here how we've got these fins sticking out. Now, I know that I said everything needs to be metallic and cool-like. The underside of the wings, what we want to do though is have a blue on the inside instead of the orange, and a silver on the outside. Unfortunately, if you're doing metallic and you go blue, light gray, it goes blue on the outside and gray on the inside. So the only way to kind of get around that is go to inverted gloss finish. So I do that on a few pieces here. These two especially, as you can see, we did it there. So let's grab these and just invert them over here. Just like that, boom. And we'll grab our Argonaut winglet. spin around a bunch of times so we figure it out. There we go. And there. We've got our undersides looking real good so far, nice and smooth, looking like a Milano-ish, coming along very nicely. Let's save. Tail section. Okay, let's start here. Remember these fins I told you to make a big fuss about? Yeah, just go ahead and delete those. Delete the reactor too while you're at it. We're gonna build a hab, kind of a guide for the Vesper diffuser, which is essentially our tail fins. And they're also gonna help us guide this, this entire tail section out because it's a little tricky. Now, if you guys aren't aware of this hab trick, allow me to introduce you. We're going to build out the habs there, use the Speedbird fairing to make the habs do something they're not supposed to. So grab the radar dome. You see how it sits on this little angle here? It's going to allow us to put the hab kind of where it's not supposed to go. Halfway back and lower, which is what we're going to use to hide the reactor. Which, you know, I don't know about you, but when I'm trying to make a smoother top, I don't want a stupid reactor sitting all the way out. We're going to drop these all the way down. All the way down. Get rid of some of these top guys here. And I want to run a few of these out so I don't lose their height, because I will end up deleting them. So you see how we've got one kind of sticking, protruding through? We're going to use that to hide the reactor. You can see, if I get it right there, it sits halfway into the floor, which allows for us to hide it with the Firebox cowling. Just like that. See? And then we're going to grab this guy here, the Turbine cowling, and we are going to sit it just right there. Beautiful. Okay. Now, as I said, we built these guys out so we could put one up there, right there, and put our final center thruster on it, just like that. Then I'm going to grab a couple of the Argonaut aerofoils. These words are so hard to remember. One there, just to kind of smooth it out, just like that. Okay, and then come over here. You're going to take one of these guys, flip it, and put it right there in the wing. The same thing on this side. And then we're going to flip them on this side, and boom. Now we'll get to coloring. Following along? Great. So with the tail, as I say, most of the stuff in the back is all metallic. You can keep the orange stripe if you want. I preferred to go with metallic and black for these parts, just because it adds more of an accent than the orange. We've already got a lot of orange going off, and most of the back of the Milano doesn't have orange on it. So as you can see, it just adds a dynamic that really makes the back pop. So that is our tail end. Hopefully you're able to follow along. I know I moved quickly. We'll go to the underside now and carry on. For the underside of the tail section, we've got a couple habs to get rid of. This one here that the thruster is attached to, you can delete that. Delete this one underneath the reactor. Of course, you want to keep these ones as part of the ship. And we're just going to cover the reactor and smooth out this entire underside with Speedbird cowling. I'm just going to spin it around so it sits there, flip it upside down, boom. And of course, let's paint it metallic and black. Voila! There's your underside. Hopefully you guys have been able to follow along so far. I hope my instructions have been clear and helpful. Our ship is starting to take shape. It's really starting to look like a Milano. But there are some things that need to be completed. And this is the part that'll make you want to quit and possibly never play this game ever again. And that is the nose and these glaring gaps here. This is... I don't even want to do this again. But, hey, we've come this far together. We might as well finish the job. Let's get into it. You know, it's not too late to back out now. You know, you can just go on with your life. Not lose sleep. Your boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't have to see you cry. Or you can carry on with me while we attempt to make the stupid, iconic Milano nose. This is going to take years off of your life. Unless you have a tip or a trick or a way around doing this that I just haven't figured out. This is the way I've done it. It worked-ish, but it is an absolute nightmare. So I'm going to do it in sections. Bear with me. We're going to take the worktop bench and build it out. Say 3. I think 3 is the best. This is going to give the TV or billboard something to lean back on, something to build off of, because otherwise it's just not going to work. So let's start with 3 and see if that works. I've added a 4th bench, or workbench, worktop, whatever you want to call it, just to give the billboard something to grab onto. We're going to change it to a orange and blue, and we're going to make it as big as we can. Well, maybe not as big as we can, but pretty darn big. And we're going to start trying to angle it appropriately and getting it to our desired nose look. This is tricky. This is going to take forever. I'm going to just do as close to a decent job as possible. Essentially, you guys are going to run with it because it's your Milano, and it's best that you work on it and try and make it perfect, because you don't want to sit here and watch me do it. You want to go and make your own, as you should, because you'll do a better job than me. Mine is not great. So yeah, so let's go with something like, I don't know, something like that. Let's go with something like that, right around there. And you're gonna notice we're gonna go through the cockpit a little bit. That's okay. It looks kind of cool on the inside. We'll do a little bit of a tilt. You're gonna try and get this just as centered as possible. For demonstration purposes, there's the start of our nose. Okay? You like it? Is it gonna work? I'm happy with it. Now all we're gonna do is just add more of these guys. Essentially, we're just going to try and make, you know, an angled nose. So it's gonna take a bit of fiddling around with getting the angles right to where you want it. I would say something along the lines of I don't know, something like that. I don't mind a little bit of orange there on the end. I just kind of like, I want it to angle in. And of course you want to watch that right side so that you don't have a part of the billboard sticking out the back there. So you're gonna have to play with it, try and get it to where you want it. I would say something like that. Yeah, something like that. Okay, another edit. I don't want to redo this part. Yeah, this is how this is gonna go. It's tough to say. I would say something like that, guys. Go with that. Yeah, see, we've got sort of a nose taking shape. Moving on. I'm gonna fly up so you can see the top view and get an idea of what we're going for here. We've got it pinned down like that. We can start deleting these benches. We don't really need them, they're just going to be in the way. Yeah, it's not perfect. Fiddle with it until you get it right and just start smoothing it out. And also do something like that just to darken those edges up so you don't notice them. There we go. something like that. As I say, work it until it feels right. I also use TVs up top and bottom to cover up the TVs. So I'll also end up using, say, a TV here.
Like that, flipping around. This is where I'll bring the billboard to the bench back. Right, something like that, and I'll throw it out so it's not in the way.
And you do a few of those, it ends up covering up the TVs from the outside. That is a haphazard just demonstration of how I did the nose. Take time on it. Just tuck TVs within TVs, stagger it down so it looks a bit smoother. This is, of course, as I said, just a demo. You'll get it right. And we're going to do something similar right here and fill this gap. Okay, we're up on the wing now. And we're going to grab another billboard. And hopefully try and remember how I did this. Yeah, we basically just want to cover this little gap here because it's kind of jarring. It's jarring to see when you're flying around that there's a massive gap. I think I used 2 TVs. They don't have to be perfect. You will kind of figure out a good angle for them. Let's say like there's one there. And then I would say just throw another one. Ugh. Somewhere like that. I don't really remember how I did it, but yeah, something like this, like that. Hopefully it's not poking out the top. There. So now you've got this. You can see the gap on this right side. The gap is mostly taken care of on the left. It looks a lot better, a lot cleaner. And we're just going to do that on the other side. Gone and doubled up the other side. Closed off that gap, both gaps. See, it's a bit cleaner now. It's much better. Starting to look like a Milano, huh? Yeah, let's do this. The orange nose. Now to do this, relatively simple, but still a little tricky. What I used was the one decal in orange. Let's see which orange? This orange. And I just basically did it a bunch of times until it runs out. You know, you can't really get it perfect, but you can do your best. Leaving it kind of like that, as I say, kind of calling it stylized is my best description of it, because you can't make it smooth. It also wants to put a sticker up there. We don't like that, but you know, whatever. Let's just go ahead and put in there. Voila, orange nose. And you'll see that the stickers kind of come in and out, but still, it's better than nothing. Now that our Milano has a nose, a painted nose at that, let's get to the final step. That pesky landing gear, I know, I promised you a work around that. Now, normally we would be over here working on our Corvette from our Corvette workshop on this bay, right? So from that bay, we would be working on our Milano, where we have been this whole time. To get rid of the landing gear, we want to run past our bay, past our Milano, and all the way over to the next bay. And over here, we're going to create a new Corvette. Obviously, this is where we would be doing it, but we're just going to scurry on over here with the camera, right until we're almost out of reach. Boom, right there's the barrier. We can select the landing gear and voila. No more landing gear. Leave workshop. And there you have it. Now once you've done that, you can't go over to this bay and start modifying to save it, because it's gonna say you can't save it without landing gear. So the best way to save it, of course, get in the ship, hop in, and hop out. That will create a new restore point saved with your no landing gear. Close up that hatch. Let's take it for a spin. Cha! Crank it up. Turn on the tunes. We've got a fully functioning Milano, baby. And she's beautiful. Well, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I've enjoyed recreating my most frustrating build to date, the Milano. But I'm so proud of it, and I'm so happy you've taken the time to hopefully get this far and make your own. Now, go forth, carry on, my wayward son, and welcome to the frickin' Guardians of the Galaxy. Only I didn't use frickin'.